Hi and welcome. At Acconeer we have developed a new investor presentation and we are recording it so that all shareholders can get access to it. My name is Lars Lindell and I'm here with Mikael Egard, co-founder of Acconeer. A little bit about my background. I studied electro like most people in our company at Lund University, and after that I spent 10 years working for Ericsson selling mobile networks, covering first Stockholm but then moved to Japan, from Japan to UK, from UK to Mexico. After 10 years I decided to do something completely different, studied for an MBA and started working at an investment bank in London. From there I moved over back to the industry, working in Silicon Valley for a couple of years, and then later Ericsson contacted me and asked if I want to go back to Japan and work with Silicon. So I moved back to Japan, stayed another 8 years before I moved back to Sweden and joined Acconeer. Mikael.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Mikael Egard, and as Lars said, I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Acconeer, and today my primary focus is on research and development, getting new features to our A1 to our customers and getting the A2 sensor to the market. My background is very much the background of Acconeer. So Acconeer, the technology in Acconeer is based on research that we did at Lund University while I got my PhD degree. And the opportunity we saw was to supply smarter sensors for markets like IoT, industrial consumer and automotive with a radar sensor that is low power, small size and cost effective. And today we have helped more than 135 customers to explore the next sense.
So today's agenda will, besides the introduction, we'll show you an overview of the market, our business and strategy, and then some of the financial development. Here comes a summary slide. First of all, what the radar does is that we emit a signal that bounces on objects, it comes back to our receiver, and then we analyze that, and then we give an output to which our customers can work, and that can be output, can be a distance, it can be movement, speed, or material characteristics. In the future, next generation product, we will also be able to give an angle to an object. We have two products in the market, A111 and an upgrade of that called A121, and in the future we are developing the A2. We are in a very fast growing market. It's projected to grow to $1 billion market, and with that of course our company has during the last few years also grown quite considerably. We have also been able to sell our sensors at a fairly good industry gross profit.
Yes, so our technology, it's based on research done at Lund University in the area of wideband communication systems for portable devices. Traditionally, radar as a technology has not been able to fit into portable devices due to size constraints, too high power consumption and being too expensive. And we set out to do the opposite. And we call our technology pulse coherent radar, and it takes the best from the pulsed technology, which is low power consumption, and the best from the coherent technology, which is high accuracy. And we combine them together, and this makes it possible to get micrometer resolution and accuracy at the same time as we get microwatt power consumption. And it's this combination that is so very attractive to our customers. We protect the intellectual property of both the sensor and applications of the sensor, and today we have in total 12 patent families.
So, why should anyone invest in us? Well, first of all, we have a world-leading technology with the pulse coherent radar that Mikael described. It is really an unfair advantage we have over everyone else. We are in a very fast-growing market, which are underpinned by some very, very strong trends in society today. It's the same product for a lot of different customers, and it's the same product for a lot of different use cases. The only thing that really changes is software settings. So we can supply the same piece of hardware to a very large market. We don't have to adapt it. And also, strong financial momentum. We've been growing our revenues fairly fast the last few years, and our business model is almost infinitely scalable. So, here comes a slide with a lot of pictures on it, but these are basically the different types of use cases where we have been able to supply or launch customers with our sensor. So we segment the market into 4 different segments: Internet of Things and Smart Cities, consumer electronics, automotive, and industrial agriculture. And if you look at Internet of Things and Smart Cities, a majority or very many of those applications are measuring a level in different types of tanks, everything from small tanks to big tanks to waste bins or sewage systems. Another area where we have done incredibly well is basically in parking occupancy, if there's a car parked or not. We think we are world leaders in that area, and I think we have close to 40 launch customers on a global basis in that area. And the third area is actually traffic light. During COVID, it became very popular to have a touchless button. You should not have to press a button in order to switch the light, and there we won a number of customers globally. Consumer electronics is very much robotics, but we are also in some other devices such as keyboards or smart showers. In automotive, we have launched in basically 2 different use cases. One is basically access control. You open and close the trunk with your foot. And the other one is interior detection. In interior detection are 3 use cases. One is child presence detection, which is where it all started actually for us in the automotive industry. But then also the car manufacturer have added a seatbelt reminder, and the third feature they've added is basically theft alarm. So 3 functions inside the car. In industrial agriculture, it's basically measuring level in silos and things like that. It's also handling of livestock, so counting cows or even measuring the girth of a cow. And it's also in inventory control. Next slide here is basically other use cases which we think we can solve. We are working on. We have projects in pipeline, and we can solve with the A1 product. And here in Internet of Things, you're talking about presence in rooms, surface velocity in sewage systems, or even sitting, a motion sensor in taps. In consumer electronics, we are talking about baby monitors or headsets or smart toilets. In agriculture, we think automation will be a very big area for us. These are customers that are very big, but they've taken their time to come to market. Agriculture machines. We also find hydraulic control very interesting, and vibration is a new area for us. And in automotive, there are more use cases we can do with our A1, which we don't have any design wins yet, but we've worked on for quite a while. And one is just simply measuring levels of fluids in a car. Another one is actually making sure that the trunk, when it's open, it doesn't hit the ceiling. And the third one is really in any vehicle to measure how loaded that vehicle is via measuring the distance down to the ground. And A2, as I said, is our new sensor. When we add new capabilities, we think we can add a lot of new use cases. So A2 will basically be able to have a longer range, but also give us an angle. So presence in rooms, but also traffic systems. In consumer electronics, we think specifically Many of the use cases where we're already today, we can do better, but also TVs we see as a large market. Industry, agriculture are basically the same use cases, but better. And in automotive, we have a number of new use cases which we can do with A2, and some of them are improvements of use cases used by A2, but new in particular are basically parking assistance and parameters monitoring in cars. So a lot of use cases, and as I said before, all of them are served with basically the same hardware. So the trends that drives our sales are basically, we think we can summarize them by saying the digitalization of society. And there's a number of some trends in that. Internet of Things is one of them. Companies like Ericsson talk about 40 or 50 billion connected devices. But of course, if that is going to happen, what you need at the end of any network is basically smart sensors. And that's what we do. We do a very smart sensor. Autonomous vehicles, any type of vehicles that are going to drive around need smarter sensors than today in order to not crash into things, but also help the vehicle as such becoming autonomous. And we're not only talking about cars, but it can be trucks, drones, agriculture machine, etc. Safety is a very strong driver. As I said, inside cars, that's driven by safety, but it can also be safety in workplaces and other areas driven by regulation. Automation, in logistics and operations, everyone wants it to be faster and smoother and improved in terms of control. Reduce energy consumption is a very big driver as well. Turning down screens when someone is not in front of it, or in an office or in a home, knowing where people are in a room so you can direct, for instance, air conditioning to the right place or heat where people actually are. And AI. When we say AI, we're not talking about the kind of AI which is up in the cloud, but what we work with very much is basically what we call AI at the edge, which means small software out in the devices that actually uses machine learning in order to perform their functions. And that's an area where we're very active. All of these trends we basically summarize as the digitalization of the future society. So, size of market. Of course, since we are an emerging technology and we are in the 60 gigahertz band, it's been very difficult to find good forecasts for our market. The middle graph you have here is basically our own forecast. And basically we do forecast then that market will in 2029 be a $1 billion size market. To the left, you have a research report from QY Research, which is more pessimistic in us. They say basically 200 million. We know them and we've talked about them. What we particularly think they have actually missed in their forecast is what's happening within automotive. But then to the right, it's a graph from a company called Yole Research, and they actually forecast that only interior detection for radars, so this is only a radar forecast, only interior detection for radars will be a 600 million market in 2028. So we are somewhere in between, the more optimistic and the more pessimistic. In our way of looking. We think this is kind of characteristics for new emerging markets. We see now the big analyst houses starting to project our market, but it's a bit scattered right now. Business and strategy. Mikael.
Yes, thank you, Lars. So we talked previously about one of the key or the core of the technology being high accuracy and low power consumption, the combination. And this is something that customers appreciate very much, but there are also other unique selling points, like the small footprint. So it consumes very little space in the customer's project, which saves them cost, but it also radiates or shines through painted glass or plastic. So there's also a design benefit. Customers can design products that look nicer, that doesn't have a lens or an open aperture. Low price point in terms of how the product integrates and compared to other types of advanced sensors. Robustness, and that applies for all radar technology, but it's not sensitive to light or sound or dirt or dust, which makes it very robust, especially in outdoor environments. And customers use these different unique selling points and they apply it in their use case. And in their use case, they do one of the basic measurements you see on this slide. So either they measure a distance, a movement, or just something being present, a speed of an object, the material properties, and that can be done thanks to the very advanced and high quality signal that the sensor delivers. So it delivers the time it takes to travel to the object and back, so the time of flight, the amplitude of signal, but also the phase. And we use this in advanced machine learning applications to detect different types of material. Lars talked, for instance, about detecting the surface of that a robot is on, as one example. For the next generation, the A2, we will also be able to detect angle to the object to do more of imaging type of measurements and provide more data. On this slide, you see competing technologies, and these are the type of technologies that we see the most in the market and that we compete with the most. As we have taken our technology, made it smaller in size, lower in cost, we can now address applications that were not possible for radar before. And those applications today use infrared or ultrasonic sensors. We talked about robustness. These sensors are sensitive to light or sound, for instance, but also limited in accuracy, so they can't do the advanced applications that radar can do. And that's where we have a benefit and a place in the market. Looking at competing radar technologies in the 60 GHz band. So first, the 60 GHz band, we use that as the very high frequency makes it possible to implement high accuracy applications. You can also shrink the antennas of the product, which means that you can make it very small, the product, which means that you can save cost. And in this band, there are competitors who use a continuous wave type of technology, so not the pulse technology. In the top right, you see those that take the technology from what they have applied for long-range automotive applications and try to address the type of use cases that require shorter range. You also see that they have designed products that try to go in the same direction as us, but in terms of power consumption and size, we still maintain a leading position. That is thanks to the pulsed and coherent properties of the technology. And our different products in the market, so the A11 has all the unique selling points that we have discussed so far. The A121 adds even better power consumption, higher quality of the signal, easier integration, which means lower integration cost for the customer, longer range and increased temperature range, so we can address more automotive applications. And then the A2 is coming. It has multiple antennas, which means that you can resolve the angle to the object. It has data processing in the sensor, which means that you can make even more advanced applications, still maintain a low cost of your total system as a customer, and it will have even longer range. And we that do it, we are 40 plus employees within the R&D. We have all of the competences needed to take something from specification to hardware design, software algorithms, integration, all of that inside the company, together with the needed IT infrastructure and laboratory space and such that is expected from a company like us. And the way we work with the development is that we spend a lot of effort collecting requirements. We have market intelligence. We have, most importantly, customer interaction to understand what is needed. We take that into our develop products organization and then deliver to what we call create business, which puts it on the shelf and delivers all the tools and software to the customer. We not only do sensors and software, but we also do modules. And a module is a product which takes one of our sensors and integrates together with other components in the processor. So this effectively increases the value and increases our position in the value chain slightly, and makes it possible for customers who do not want to do this development themselves, or they are in very much of a hurry and need to get to market fast, to take something that is more ready and tested and easier for them to integrate. So these are the modules, and here you see two examples, our entry module and our IoT module in the A121 family. And together with all of these products, we supply evaluation kits, which makes it possible for the customer to easily get to know our sensor. They get the software free of charge through a license agreement on our website, detectors and algorithms to go with that, and different types of reference applications to make it easy for them for that specific use case to develop their product. And the basic journey of a customer, you can see here, of course, many different customers that we help, but they find us in some way, direct sales initiatives, trade shows, distributor networks online. They buy one of our evaluation kits, they get the software, download software, and our open source exploration tool, which contains algorithms and an easy path to get to know the sensor. And then they use different resources we have for system design, hardware integrations, software integration, documentation, tools, reference files. We provide that in an open way to make sure that as many customers as possible can utilize the technology. And this is for the general customer, and then for specific customers and opportunities, we do what we call customer projects.
Yes, so we basically do customer projects for two types of customer. Either it's customer are very big opportunities for us, we want to help them the whole way until their launch, or it's customer who are doing a new and novel use case where for us it's very important that their product works very well, because that it will be our reference in the market. And we have currently somewhere between 25 and 30 ongoing customer projects. So those are the bigger opportunities. Of course, this whole process takes very different time for different types of customers. The fastest customers are basically Internet of Things customers. They typically take 1 to 2 years to get a product to market. Industrial agriculture can be anything from fairly fast, 1 to 2 years, but also up to 6 years. And automotive takes typically 3 to 6 years to get from a design win to get to launch. Customer product launches. So one of the things that we talk a lot about when we talk about our pipeline is how many evaluation kits we sell. And actually last year we sold 4 evaluation kits a day on average, 1,400 units. That means that we add somewhere between 100 to 200 customers every quarter that evaluates our products. We measure design wins, and in the case of automotive, we actually announce it to shareholders, and we measure product launches from customers. So last year we had 38 customer product launches. And one of the things we do is that we categorize them in different sizes. So in the smaller size, we have 118 launch customers, and we estimate that they can give us an annual revenue of $20,000. We have 22 mid-sized customers, and we estimate that they will give us an average revenue of $120,000. And we have 5 really large customers, and we estimate that they can give us an average of $400,000 in annual revenue. So of course, what we want over time is that these customers will grow and grow into larger categories, and that will help us grow our revenues. But also we are aiming to launch more and more in the large customer categories. And we have a very wide pipeline of large customers. One of the reasons why we wanted to look like this is that this actually gives a very wide customer base over many different segments, but also geographically spread, gives us a very robust revenue line. And we've always aimed to have a robust revenue line with high gross margins. In order to very quickly build out a global sales organization, we work with many different types of customers. Typically, the customer project customers, we do direct sales once they launch. There's no reason to have any middlemen that actually we have to share margin with. We work with several module providers that do general modules that later can be used in many different types of use cases, same as our modules, but you can do very many different kinds of modules. System integrators are companies who take our sensor, integrate in a different product that basically then goes into a third product. So for instance, Automotive, our Automotive customer Alpine is a typical example of that. They build boxes that basically then goes into cars. And then we work with distributors on a global basis. We can also work with other semiconductor companies. We've had discussions on that. We've never really come to the end of that, but that is a potential channel for us as well. Here comes an overview on our distributor network. So we work with DigiKey and Mouse, which are global and the biggest in the world in basically selling electronic components. Besides them, we do have local distributors in all important geographies that can meet the customers in the local language, same time zone, same culture, and support the customers. Another advantage of actually setting up this way is that each customer have at least 2 channels where they can purchase products, and that means that there's a natural competition between these. If you look at how much we've launched, Europe is our biggest market, followed by China, then US, and then the normal suspects, Korea, Japan, and Australia, New Zealand. US has not progressed as fast as others, and the reason for that was that initially there was some limitation from a regulatory aspect. That is solved now, and we think that US will catch up, and in the last 2 quarters actually we had most launches in the US. When you look at the different areas, of course Internet of and Smart Cities are where we have most launches, followed by industry and then consumer electronics and last automotive. But if you look at the revenue distribution already, you see that industry and agriculture is our largest segment. Now what we think over time here is that industry and agriculture and automotive will be the largest segments, followed by IoT and smart cities and then consumer electronics. A few words about what we do in automotive. In automotive, we sell our sensors to a distributor in Japan called Next Electronics, and they supply it basically to our large customer, which is Alpine, who is also an owner in our company. We have, in terms of design wins, we have 14 design wins in kick detection, and actually we are right now designed into 3 of the 5 biggest car brands in the world. Out of those 14, 4 are already on the market with cars being launched, and 3 of the 14 have also sourced interior detection from us. Example of customers and customer stories. Hancom is a Korean company. They do parking sensor. It's actually a very large company in Korea. They provide a Airbnb service for parking places. So if you're not on your parking, someone else can park there, and you will get an income from that. General Motors is of course the first customer out on the street with cars where our radar is, and that's access control. And when it comes to interior detection, it is announced that we will sit in both the Polestar 3 and the EX90. Those are very important deals for us because there are many sensors per car. So in a Polestar we have 7 sensors, in an EX90 we have 8. Another very interesting company is Metasware. They become world leaders in actually providing systems for sewage systems. And what is driving this, particularly in the UK, is that the operator of sewage systems, every time there's a leakage, they get fined by the government. So what they want is to have many measurement points in their systems, and they are doing that with our radar. So they are actually rolling out tens of thousands of radars in UK sewage systems every quarter. LevelCon is a US customer who works mainly with agriculture industry, measuring levels in tanks. And GrooveX is a Japanese robot company that basically has done a robot called Lovot, which is I would call pet replacement, but companion to people in Japan. A few words on how we manufacture our products. We are what in our industry call a fabless company. What that means is that we have no factory and we don't produce anything. So we have partners who do that for us. So Global Foundries is one of the largest foundries in the world, and we are using their 40 nanometer process in Singapore, and that's where the basic wafer is made. That is then later sent to Amkor in Korea, who actually produces the product, and then it's shipped to Presto, which is a French company, but it's shipped to Presto in Denmark, where our final test is made, and then we can get the product and we ship it to the end customer. A little bit about our financial performance. As you can see here, our revenue has developed quite fast over the last few years. 2023 was a soft year, and the main reason for that was that during COVID, our customers built up fairly large amount of stock, and when COVID was over, they basically managed their stock levels down, and that actually what hit us. But we are quite sure that this is just a blip, and if you in a few years look back on us, you will see that that was our COVID impact. Gross margin, there are actually 2 gross margins. What we usually talk about is only the gross margin we have on hardware, because hardware is what's going to scale, and that then of course becomes a more important gross margin figure. We are around 60%, and that is a fairly good industry margin. We aim to be between 40 and 60. Initially we were higher than that, and then it was a little bit lower in 2022, but the reason for that is basically that the product mix have changed over time. And of course, as we grow, the most important is what gross margin do we get on our basic sensor. Yeah. And if you look at EBIT, it's been decreasing every year, a little bit in 2023, but of course, EBIT is what needs to go into profit. Financial targets. So one thing that is new is that we have publicized financial targets for Acconeer. We think we have come so far in building our business and launching customers, so we have a pretty good visibility. So our target is to reach at least 300 million Swedish kronor in 2027. We want to be EBIT break-even during 2025, and also have a long-term EBIT margin of at least 25%, which is a good industry average. So summary, why should anyone invest in Acconeer? Well, as we have explained, we do have a world-leading technology that can be used in extraordinary amount of different types of applications. We are growing very fast, and our growth is driven by the basic trends in our society today. We can supply the same hardware to very diversified customer base. We don't have to change our hardware for that. And our financial growth has been very strong, and our basic business model is very scalable. So with that, thanks for listening to this presentation. I hope for existing shareholders that there was some information here that was new for you, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.